following program is classified G. It's suitable for all ages.
Good evening and thank you for joining with us on Business Best. This is a platform where we showcase the best in the business, and we will be introducing to you people who have excelled in their particular field in order to showcase their latest developments in their respective industry. So today on the show, I would say this business would be an advantage for all the readers out there and the people who showcase a love for books. So with that introduction, I would like to invite Ragulan Tharmakulasingam, who is the co-founder of Pick a Book. Ragulan, thank you very much for joining with us on the show. So before we go into a broader discussion of what your business is all about, could you give our audience an introduction to what it is and what was the inspiration behind it for you to start this?
So Pick a Book is more towards reading. I'm sure, say for example, all these days, people are distracted with digital. Of course, digital is doing a lot of good things, but again, you have the bad side of it. People are, looking at the phone and the tabs, and they are becoming more individualistic, looking at those, right? And people are spending more time into it. So the Pick a Book inspiration started at the organization. It was started as an internal organizational activity. So we wanted the team members to read a book and present one chapter every day. So it was an exercise within a marketing team. So we started, and then the marketing team members did a small session to the entire organization. So I personally picked well, and even my other co-founder, we were brainstorming, and we found out the internal organizational activity was so powerful, and it also created lots of curiosity within the team members to read more. So we saw a bit of a change, not a bit change, possibly a massive change within the team, and we did one session public. So with that only it all started. So when we did the first session, where we got one of the presenter to present the book, that was Robin Sharma's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So it was like a sort of a 1 hour session. It's like a presentation of a summary of the book. So whoever wanted to learn more about the book, they were there, and it actually picked well. So the public, the members who came on that day, they said it's fantastic, please go ahead. That's how it started. So personally, I love reading. For me, my mentors and coaches are books, the books I read, whether it's my personal development or when it comes to business or in any challenge. So my mentors are books. So I myself and my co-founder is KVT Ramesh. He's from India. Both of us know the value of reading. So that was the inspiration we got to start this movement called Pick a Book. So what happens there is every week one reader read a book, summarize it, and present the summary to the audience. So it becomes a very intellectual discussion in these sessions, right? And at the same time, of course, we lost the social interaction we had before digital. So those days people met, they shared, we had some fantastic intellectual discussion, and we lost that because of all these, other distractions. So now here what happens is generally after each and every Pick a Book session, you see some great intellectual discussion. So people start bonding, keeping books as the base. So that's how all it started, and the main inspiration is, reading can change people's life.
Right, Ragulan. So how can people get involved with your business? What's the platform you have for them to get engaged?
So how it works, these are offline sessions, as I mentioned. So we started it as a social interactivity movement, right? So it started as a Sri Lankan entity first, and then now it's in 4 countries, right? And we have readers globally now. 4 countries, 18 plus regions, and more than 1,000 members within a year's time. So how they say, if a reader, now say just forget about we have 4 set of people. We have readers and non-readers, and then avid readers and knowledge seekers. Now take readers, they need a little bit inspiration from someone to read more. And say take non-readers, they also need inspiration to start reading. Now take avid readers, say they have a wisdom of knowledge, but they don't have a platform to share what they read. And knowledge seekers, they just wanted knowledge from something. So Pick a Book addresses all these segments. Now say for example, if a non-reader who wanted to be a part of it, they can drop into any of our club session, be there, and get that inspiration from readers. So then they also start getting into the habit of reading. So if it's a reader, when you have an ecosystem of people who are readers, you also become reader. You start reading more. And avid readers, generally what we do, now you see avid readers outside. they read and they have the wisdom of knowledge within themselves. They never get a platform to share. So avid readers, it's a platform for them to share. But at the same time, the human brain capacity is very low, right? So what happens is, now when you read, you sometimes forget the next day. Imagine you read it, you analyze it, and you present it. So if you want to present, you should basically remember all the content in the book. So that's the entire structure of it. So reader or non-reader, they can be a part of pick a book, and even if it's non-reader, it's okay, but at least they get an inspiration from others to at least touch the book and smell it, right? So any readers can be a part of it, and at the same time they can attend any of the club sessions. Starting from Monday to Friday, we have club sessions. It's a matter for them to just to drop in and get that inspiration from readers and start reading and change the world.
Okay, Ragulan. I think you mentioned something about regional clubs as well. How did that come into play, and what are the countries that you are working with at the moment? So
currently in Sri Lanka, we have 25 clubs. I think last week we basically launched the 25th club. So these are location-based clubs. Example, we have restaurants, co-working space who are partners with us. So these locations are the partners. So we have members who are part of this particular club. So in Sri Lanka, especially in Colombo, we have 25 clubs, and then we started in Galle, and then Negombo, Kandy. So any readers in those respective region, they can be a part of Pick a Book. So we have 6 different segments. One is kids, because they are the future leaders of the country, and all the leaders are readers, right? So we also wanted to see a great change in the kids segment when they grow big and they become leaders. And then next is teen. And then we have adults, those who are above 20, and then we have companies, Pick a Book for companies, and Pick a Book for schools and universities, and communities, apartment and condominium. So this is the 6 segment. So any respective region, you are a reader and you want to be a part of Pick a Book, either you're from an organization or as an individual, you can just join in. So in Sri Lanka, we have 5 regions. In India, 18 plus region. So we have some fantastic readers in India as well, and Singapore and UK. So totally 4 countries, 18 plus regions, and 1,200 plus members now. So it's again a global connectivity for reader. Sri Lankan reader in Sri Lanka, just say in Colombo, you can meet readers in India. At the same time, all these online sessions now, but later when things becomes okay, it's going to be a great interactivity. So example, a reader in Sri Lanka travels to Singapore. They can attend any Pick a Book session in those respective countries. So that's the current spread. And in Sri Lanka, yes, we also just started in Negombo as well. So any readers from any segment, it's a matter for them to just check with us and then join the journey of inspiration.
Right, Ragulan. Yeah. So when you started this business also, what was the age category that responded to you most?
Right.
And right now, what is the scope you have?
Okay, see, take all the segments actually responded really well. So what we did was, when we started, now see, it's about forming habits, right? So when we started, we wanted to finalize or possibly fine-tune the model, right? Because see, you do anything for 21 days, it becomes an habit. You do it for 90 days, it becomes a lifestyle. And again, reading is an habit, and it's very tough for anyone to get into that if they are non-reader. And say it's like going to the gym. Every January you see the gym memberships are going up, right? And then what happens is, so it goes up, but no one continues the gym sometimes, But you need that ecosystem or that accountability partners who pushes you up to somehow, get it done. So that's how it generally works, Janali.
Okay, so before we go into a break, would you tell me the importance you saw of showing this love towards books and bringing out these intellectual skills in individuals?
Okay, see, as I mentioned you before, reading can change people's life. If you ask me what is my favorite about book, is it helps you to travel everywhere being in one place. Now I'm sure, say for example, in countries after pandemic, the reading habits been changed. In India, people started reading more, 16 hours per week. So it helps you to explore new world, imagination. So lots of benefits reading, as I'm sure everyone knows, starting from kids to everyone knows the benefit of reading. And at the same time, for me, it's personally, books are my mentors and coaches. Say for example, if I find a challenge, I of course have books to refer. And there are some great books written by some great authors, are my personal Bible. and it's similar for everyone. So when it comes to reading, there are non-fiction, fiction, and it could be a reading of textbooks, but we mostly promote book reading. That's on non-fiction and fiction. Say example, like if you read a fiction book, right, and then it gives you lots of creative and imaginative skills, and it vocabulary grows up, your talents of speech goes up. At the same time, your memory power gets strengthened. So a lot of benefit you get, and by reading non-fiction book, you don't need anyone to come and train you. You see a practical, someone's life example and guidance out there as learning. So those are the things reading can do, and everyone knows it.
Right, Ragulan.
Yeah.
Let's go into a short commercial break and we'll continue this discussion right afterwards. You're watching Business Service and we'll be back soon right after this commercial break. Welcome back to Business Best, and we are in discussion with Ragulan Tharmakulasingam, who is the co-founder of Pick-a-Book. I think, Ragulan, you gave a very good introduction to what Pick-a-Book is all about. Another small technical question, when comparing other countries, where do you see Sri Lanka stands at the moment with the literacy rates? Like, do you feel that people are reading at this point?
Okay, see, there is no data to prove whether Sri Lankans are readers or not. But I think only thing is that what I've seen is, lots of distraction as Sri Lankans we have. It could be all these digital, sometimes you have all these different channels, right, basically, and lots of negativity sometimes, right. So but now after pandemic, right, based on the research, global research, people are reading now. Reason, you have two options: either you get into a bad habit being at home, or you get into good habit. So people are making now conscious choice of okay, I want to be good. That's what in UK people started reading more. Even in India, people started reading more. As I mentioned, those days they spent 8 hours per week. Now they are spending 16 hours per week. And even so, with Pick-a-Book set up in Sri Lanka, we have seen people started reading more as well. And lots of inquiries are coming, and people are joining, and they are being a part of it. And so I think within last 2 months, we launched close to around 7-8 clubs. All because that basically gives an indication people understand the need for reading, and they are also reading more. And especially with kids segment, what we have observed the recent past is, parents are encouraging the kids to read. So common observation is, yes, of course, I think people know the importance, right? It's that just, they don't have sort of a system or a support group to encourage them. So we wanted to create that ecosystem of readers and encourage and get that inspiration from each and everyone and encourage reading. So of course, I think people know it, and I see that they are also reading.
Okay, now coming towards the challenges. Now, of course, last year the whole world was affected with the pandemic, and I'm pretty sure you all also would have had to resort into online sessions as well.
Yep.
So do you think that online sessions provide a very effective method of doing these sessions and reading, communicating with people?
All right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so actually pandemic did a lot of good things to us. Okay, the time we launched Pick-a-Book in Sri Lanka on 22nd of February, and last year on 8th of March launched in India, Vijayawada. The time I landed, it was a lockdown. But of course it gave us lots of understanding, plus also it helped us to expand Pick-a-Book in different countries because of online, right? But again, online, generally, it's still you see people when it comes to these sessions, right? But it's not that much effective. Even when we have started sessions in the companies. So it's not 100% effective the way that we want to be, but we don't have option. But still, it's not, people are interacting, they are coming, people are talking about it. Even after the session, they spend 1 hour. Sometimes all these readers spend 1 hour in discussing online. But I think the impact would be more if it's offline, because it's about social interaction. You need to see someone physically and look at face to face and get that interaction. And imagine you're talking about books. The time you start talking about one book on a physical discussion, I'm sure you're going to spend a lot of time with someone. Yeah, but it didn't damage anything, but it helped us to widespread the audience, also the reach. But in terms of the interaction and social, the activity, of course, it has a bit of an impact, yes.
Other than the pandemic, were there other challenges that you faced initially when you set up this business?
Not actually. The initial challenge was to see what model. As I mentioned, it's a habit formation, end of the day, right? So everyone knows reading is really good, right? But no one reads sometimes, right? And even say, for example, a non-reader even knows, okay, I need to read, but they don't get that inspiration to read. So the initial, rather a challenge, the initial test for us is to get that model right. Okay, how we are going to get them to read, and how we are going to form the pick a book model where they get into the habit of reading. So it was the first, rather a challenge. It's a sort of a business model innovation that we had to make there to make sure that we roll out everywhere. So we did a 6-month trial run in Sri Lanka. So we did it and we spoke to a lot of readers, and then only we got the model right. But of course it was a sort of a activity initially, then we got the model right.
What were some of the strategies that you use in order to grab the people's attention, to keep them reading, to keep them engaged with your sessions?
Okay, see, it's like this. So in the sessions, it's not us anymore. It's the readers, end of the day. So Pick a Book is not myself or my co-founders. No, it belongs to everyone in the ecosystem. If you ask me who managed to take Pick a Book to 4 countries, 18 regions, it's the readers and the leaders of the movement. So what happens is, one is it's about you come in, it's an inspiration they give to the others, right? And then the lots of the creative ways of presentation, and they share their own experience sometimes, and then they create lots of curiosity when presenting. So that becomes it becomes an encouragement factor for people to okay, this book resonates with me well, so let me go and buy it. So the idea there is the presenter, we given a small format for the presenters to create that curiosity. So so then in each and every session, one reader follows it and inspire others. So when a person who is listening to the book and then the content, when it resonates well, they go buy a book and they start reading.
Okay, and when coming back to the sessions, before the pandemic you all had sessions in different locations. Do you all have a specific location per se, or do you all have it in various locations for the convenience of the members?
Yeah, so we have sessions, these are different locations. Example, we are as I mentioned, we have restaurants are partners with us, we have co-working offices are partners with us. So what happens is, it goes as Pick a Book, the location name, and then the club name. So members, say example, if it's a Monday club, they go to that location and they meet. And if it's a restaurant, they start with open networking, and then they talk about books. In the session, we have a certain agenda, and then they discuss about the books. So it goes about 1.5 hours in the location. So we have close to in Sri Lanka, I think in Colombo, not more than 10 locations partnered with us, with some big brands, all are with us, right? So like I mentioned, it's basically weekly sessions every day. The members go and meet. So if it's a Monday club member, he fixed that for lifetime. Every Monday 6 to 8 I'm going to allocate to Pick a Book.
Right, Ragulan. So do you feel that the community you have in Pick a Book has made a difference? Do you think that Pick a Book has made a difference to them as well?
Yeah, so if you say Pick a Book, it is basically a combination of everyone. It's a Pick a Book team we have, and then it's Pick a Book leaders we have, and we have the Pick a Book readers, right? So it's a combination of everyone. So of course, as a team, they have done a massive impact in the society, starting from kids. Sometimes kids, if you say kids, sometimes present some non-fiction books, right? So looking at their presentation, adults think and see, if they can present and if they can read, why we can't do that? So lots of inspiration there. And all these presentation, each sessions are learnings. I mean, if anyone walks in, imagine you are listening to a book, 45 minutes or 1 hour. And you don't need the full book to change your life. Even one line in the book is enough to change someone's life. Example, now one of the things it resonates me well is with Good to Great, Jim Collins' Good to Great book. He says, great vision without great people is irrelevant. Now that line is enough for any leaders to capture it. Likewise, every week, every day, some change happens and some inspiration goes in from all segments, whether it's kid or it's teen or it's adults or it's companies, some learning, some inspirations, some life-changing moments.
All right, Ragulan. So what is your next step with the business? Where do you stand at the moment, and where do you see your business in about 5 years' time?
Okay, so currently, as I mentioned, we are in 18 plus regions and 1,200 members, 4 countries. So by next 18 months, we are planning around 25 countries, 5 years, the ultimate vision is to, of course, to give great experience to members, right? And we won't make them to be better at what they do. Lots of reading, lots of inspiration, and then 100 countries and 1 million members is the goal.
All right. So as my final question, coming back to your staff, do you think that your staff has the capability to mentor all age groups? And of course, they also should be book lovers in order to mentor them as well. Give your thoughts on that.
If you take the club model, right, we have club coaches. So the members become coaches. So what the part of Pick a Book team is to, support the entire Pick a Book ecosystem from tech to digital, right now. So we build the culture. It's again, when it comes to Pick a Book, it's the reading culture, because as team we walk the talk. At any given point, any given time, one Pick a Book member or Pick a Book team member who reads at least 1 to 2 books on a monthly basis, right? So we have that set. So in the sense, they give that total support for the readers to take the movement to the next level.
All right. Well, unfortunately, this is all the time we have on the show. Thank you again very much for joining with us on Business Best, and I wish you all the very best with Pick a Book as well.
Thank you so much.
And that was our episode on Business Best tonight. We'll be back again next week with a brand new product or service that we'll be able to share with you. Don't go anywhere, because the blueprint is up next, where you can get some useful business tips and tools. Until then, I'm Suzanne Shinali. Stay safe and have a good night.